Alright, hello and welcome back to my channel where today we're going to be ranking on a tier list my first 10 playthroughs that I've done on this channel, with Banjo-Kazooie, my most recent game I finished, being the 10th. And the plan is for every 10 games that I complete on this channel, I will add them to this tier list. Uh, Add them to the rankings, maybe move some old ones around if I feel necessary to. And yeah, that's really about it. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and start with Halo Combat Evolved, and I am working on a review video of this. I know I went out of order when I did my Donkey Kong Country review, but that was a game that I was like very compelled by, and I just really wanted to get it ranked. And not to say that any of these other games haven't made me feel that way, because they have, but it's just kind of, I don't know. I just felt very motivated at the time. And lately have not felt very motivated to record a review video. But I do plan on doing a review of every single one of these and eventually future playthroughs as well. But anyways, Halo Combat Evolved. As far as I can remember, probably my earliest memory of experience playing video games. And I mentioned that in my review, and that's not where I'm placing it. And I'm going to throw it in B right now as I talk about it. I just don't want to be distracted by the other images. I'm very easily distracted. But this game, like I said, holds what's the word I'm looking for? Sentimental value, because it is, like I said, probably my earliest memory of playing a video game ever. So my first video game ever, my first FPS, yada yada yada, holds value in that way. And I had played it multiple times throughout my life. So as I got older, I revisited, played through it again. And I've always come away thinking that it's a pretty damn good game, because it is. It kicks off an incredible franchise that ran for, well, I'm gonna be honest, I've never played Halo 4 or Halo 5. I have played ODST and I've played Halo Reach. So Halos 1 through 3 and Halo Reach and Halo 3 ODST, all incredible games. Never played 4 or 5. I have no interest in playing 4 or 5. I might play 4 because it is in the Master Chief Collection, which is how I played this game, and Halo 2. But it still remains to be seen whether I decide to play it or not. But with this game, it has its ups, and they're very high ups, and it has its downs, which are not as low as the highs get. So it does have that going for it, but it can be a little bit of a slog at times. Like the library. I did some research on like where people usually rank their favorite levels. Library kind of tends to be ranked on the lower side. Some people enjoy it. As I played through this the last time, it wasn't the library that really kind of annoyed me or got boring to me. I believe it was whatever the level is where you got to go from each tower and you go into the little like circular areas, like you got to walk one way to get to the other side, and you have the like inner circle. I can't remember. God, I hate that I'm forgetting the name of that level, but hopefully it'll come to me. If it does, I'll probably put a cut in here saying what level I'm talking about. But it's just like there were certain levels. Maybe it was a secret cartographer. No, that's not it. That's the beach level. Regardless of all that, there are times where it gets very repetitive. Like enter this long hallway, kill all these enemies that are very strong, because I was playing it on heroic, the hardest difficulty I've ever played a Halo game on, and die a bunch if you're not skilled enough, which I was not. And then you get through that hallway, turn a corner or two, go outside for a little bit, fight some enemies out there, and then right back into the long hallways filled with enemies or hidden enemies, and blah blah blah. So, like I said, it has its downs. Still an incredible game though. Like I very much enjoyed it as I was playing it. Not to say that I didn't, don't think I hated it because I didn't. I love this game, and as I said, its highs are awesome. I loved the direction because you can tell that it does take itself serious to an extent, but it doesn't take itself too serious. And I'm not going to say that the later installments like Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, Reach take themselves too serious, but I feel like there's a charm with this first Halo game that is a little campy. Like the charm is that it has a little bit of a campiness to it. And that's okay. I mean, I don't hate that it kind of plays into the I guess I want to say Star Trek aspect of where it's like I never was like a big Star Trek fan. I was always more of a Star Wars guy. And you can say that Star Trek and Star Wars kind of took themselves a little too serious at times, maybe sometimes not serious enough. But I get a Star Trek feeling from the cutscenes in this game, especially the very first opening cutscene. Uh, Captain Keyes on the bridge, hands behind his back, looking all straight face and serious, but it's just the zoom in on the face when he says pull him or some shit like that, or wake him up, or I can't remember. It's been way too long since I played this, which is why I'm very upset that I dragged my feet on the review. But the game is good. It holds up, no doubt about it. Just has some of those moments where it's like, okay, could we not? And I don't blame him. It's an older game. They probably were limited, and it's the first installment of the series. They were probably limited on their resources, so they probably couldn't get too elaborate with it. And if they had gotten too elaborate with it, who knows? Maybe it never becomes what it is today. But you can't deny that there are those moments in the game where it just gets a little boring and a little repetitive, and you're just like, okay, please, let's move on to the next level already. But because of that, I'm not going to overglaze it and give it an A or an S. Maybe my past self, honestly, my past self would have said absolutely an S, no doubt about it. But after playing Halo 2, I know for a fact that this is not the best installment in the series. I still probably have yet to play the best installment, which is Halo 3, as far as I understand. Although I did like Halo 2 quite a bit, but we'll get there. But Halo Combat Evolved is a B, as of right now, especially in comparison to some of these other games. And it's crazy because I'm actually about to move on to the next game, which is Half-Life. And this is the second game we're ranking, and it's the first S I'm giving out. Now, I don't know if this will be a shock to anybody. If you've never played this game, 100% do yourself a favor and find a way to play this game. I'll tell you right now, I do believe Half-Life to be a superior game than Halo Combat Evolved. And I don't know if they came out in the same year. I know it had to be close to each other. I'm pretty sure Combat Evolved came out in 2001. I believe this might have came out in 98, maybe 2000, I can't remember. But regardless, this was a game that when I had always wanted to play it. I had watched the YouTube series by Ross, I believe his name was, from, oh man, I'm forgetting the name of the channel, something cow or whatever, I don't know, but he did the Freeman's Mind series, which was a very cool spin on a Let's Play. Now, it looked like a Let's Play, played like a Let's Play, you were watching Ross play through the game, but he was doing commentary as if he was the inner monologue voice of Gordon Freeman, which is why it's called Freeman's Mind. It was hilarious. It was incredible. I watched up to a certain point, never finished the series, but mainly that was probably because I had loved what I seen so much that I knew that I would want to play this game, and for years I've owned this game in my Steam account, but always kept telling myself, just wait, you're going to make YouTube videos and you'll play it on there. And eventually I did. And honestly, I believe I made a mistake when I chose this to be my first playthrough. I'm glad that I did play this. I probably would have eventually, regardless. I chose to make it my first because I was like, it was my earliest memory of a game, probably my first video game I ever touched. And so let's give this, the first inaugural series on my channel. But after playing this, I wish that I had played this. The only thing that I'll say that bothered me about this game, and it's really funny because I said in my Donkey Kong Country review video, if you haven't watched it, please do. Um, this game is damn near flawless. Donkey Kong Country. I can say the same for Half-Life. There was the one thing that annoyed me was the movement. When you're playing on keyboard and mouse, I don't know how it is on controller, and I don't know if there was some kind of setting I could have messed with to make it better. But when you're on keyboard and mouse playing this game, Gordon Freeman is like perpetually running unless you hold the shift button, I believe it is, or one of those buttons, control. One of those buttons makes you do like a slow walk or like a normal walk, because otherwise this game has it all. It's first person shooter. You also have blunt weapons that you have to fight with sometimes, like the crowbar, the famous crowbar. And then it's also a platformer. There's platforming in this game. And honestly, like, Halo might have some little pieces of platforming. I don't think it really does, though. Not enough to talk about. This game has platforming. And having your character move so freaking fast, I don't know. I feel like maybe I shouldn't cuss too much in this video, because this is one that random people might watch. But you move so fast, you just try to inch forward a little bit. Next thing you know, you're falling off the ledge because you moved too far. And then, like, I'm cramping my hand to try to hold shift or control, whichever button it is that makes them walk slower, or even crouch, like if you're crouching. But if you're doing platforming, you don't want to be crouched, obviously. But yeah, that would get on my nerves. The game is somewhat difficult. I believe I played it on normal difficulty. I know I did not play it on easy. I almost wish I would have played it on something harder. Like, I think it only has 3 difficulties: easy, normal, hard, like most games did back in that time. But I played it on normal. Probably could have played it on hard, but I'm glad I didn't, because it had its difficulty, but it was not too difficult. But this game's awesome. The enemies awesome. It's creative the way you have to beat some of the enemies. It's like just a jumble of all these different games. FPS first and foremost. Platformer probably second. Horror, survival, I guess. Not really survival, but horror. Like, it's got its horror element. It's sci-fi. You've got your puzzles that you have to figure out. Like, it's just all this cool stuff packed into one game. Incredibly well done. I love this game. I cannot glaze it enough, and I can't wait to do a review on it, which is why I have to power through the Halo Combat Evolved one. But yeah, I love this game. It is 100% an S tier game, and I am excited to play the follow-ups. But I have a feeling they're not going to be as good as this one. Like, this game is just almost perfect. But yeah. So now let's move on to Left 4 Dead. And I don't want to be too harsh and give it a C. And I am going to do something like, let's say I have multiple games in B. If Halo's at the front, that means Halo is better than all the other B, and that's how it's going to go. The B tier games. But the thing is, I don't believe Left 4 Dead is on a similar vein or standing as Halo Combat Evolved. I will say this: I was thoroughly surprised by how much content there was actually in this game. I always imagined Left 4 Dead, because I had played it before a little bit, mainly the second one, hardly ever played the first one. But the second one's the one I played the most growing up, but still didn't play it all that much. And I would mostly play multiplayer. I would hardly ever play through the story. If I did play through the story, I was playing it with friends, and I didn't do that very often. So I always just wanted to play multiplayer, and I always liked playing as the zombies. I thought it was cool that you could do that. But this game, playing through it for this channel, for the first time, the story all the way through, I was fairly surprised at how much content there was, because I did not think that the campaign was as long as it was. There's different campaigns in the game. So obviously it's all encapsulated in one campaign, but then each section of the campaign is called its own campaign, if I remember correctly. Uh, and most of those have about 4 sections that you have to get through. So there's the overarching campaign, then there's your main campaign sections, and then inside those campaigns you have your 4 different sections. If hopefully that makes sense. And it was a nice surprise to realize that it was a much more fleshed out game than I expected it to be. And I'm not gonna say that meant I went into it thinking it wouldn't be that good, or that I came out of it thinking it wasn't good. It's obviously a good game. People love the Left 4 Dead franchise, and for a reason. Even with as old as it is now, people love this series. They still go back and play it. I mean, I guarantee you I can find YouTube channels that are like a lot of Left 4 Dead content, and they're still getting thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of views, whatever it is. People love Left 4 Dead, and I see why. You have a very limited weapon selection, which honestly I think plays into it perfectly. I don't think this is a game that you need a bunch of different weapons. I mean, you could technically say these games also have limited weapon selection, but I mean this one really only has, so I don't know, this game probably has fewer weapon selection than this game, but still the weapons that you can choose from for Left 4 Dead are perfect for it. And you say that about these two. But the only thing is where I get is I'm just not like a huge fan. I don't know. I wasn't blown away by it. God, I don't know. I don't know if I should give it C though. It's not a C. It's just not a C tier game. It's a B tier game. And we'll have to revisit this, maybe see where we stand on it later, at towards the end of the video. But as of right now, this is how it's shaken out. Donkey Kong Country. If I'm telling you that this game is damn near flawless, like I said, this game, it's an S tier. Now, is it better than Half-Life, or is Half-Life better than it? I'm going to say Half-Life is better than Donkey Kong Country. I love platformers. I love old Nintendo games. I have always wanted to play the Donkey Kong Country series ever since I found out what it was, which was when I played Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii. Loved that game. Absolutely sucked at it though. Never got anywhere near beating it. But I had always wanted to play this franchise. Man, is it difficult though. And I'm playing through Donkey Kong Country 2 right now. By the time this video comes out, it will have taken over as the main series. I actually just beat the final boss of Banjo-Kazooie today. But Donkey Kong Country, it's sometimes too difficult. It's like, I understand wanting to give your players, some problems or whatever, like don't make it such a walk in the park. But boy, does it feel unfair sometimes. And that feels especially true with Donkey Kong Country 2. But really what it is you have to play through the levels enough times for you to memorize where certain things are, what you're supposed to do in certain situations. And that's all it boils down to. And that's probably most platformers in this era. You probably say that about most platformers in the NES, Super Nintendo, SNES, whatever you want to call it. Even Nintendo 64. I mean, even Banjo-Kazooie is just a lot of remembering where you're supposed to go. But we'll get to there. But, Donkey Kong Country is an S tier. Half-Life is a better S tier. And I might even I don't want to say I'm going to drop it, but it's staying in S tier for now. So, Spyro. This game's not bad. It's not a B tier. It's not an A tier for sure. It is a C tier, and that's only because it's really more of like, I don't want to say it's a walk in the park, because there are moments where you're going to have like some trouble, but It's almost like once you struggle with something 2 or 3 times, by the time you try to tackle a certain platforming section or whatever, by the time you do it for the fourth time, you've probably got it. And there's really no bosses. I mean, there's bosses, I'm doing the little air quotes with my fingers, but it's not really like bosses until the final boss. And even then, it was so easy. Like, the game's just too easy. That's kind of what brings it down for me. There's not a lot going on. It's not some super long campaign, and it doesn't need to be. The game's perfect for what it is. Just turn it on, grab your controller, and get ready to chill out and do some platforming and collecting. It's a collect-a-thon platformer for the PlayStation 1, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do, but it could have some more challenge, it could have some more content, could have had some, mini bosses that actually were kind of bosses instead of what they are, which is like you jump to a platform that the mini boss is standing on, and then they run away. You don't even hurt them or nothing. They just run away. So it's just kind of like, not too much going on. It's going to be difficult to make the review video for that because it's like, I'm going to run out of things to say. And it's probably going to be one of my shorter review videos. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a good game. Not terrific, not amazing, not perfect, and it's not terrible, not bad. It's just exactly what it should be. Middling. It's a good, decent game. Alright, Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Now this game, I'm going to put it in A for now. It could very easily be an S tier, but I just did not enjoy it quite as much as I did these two games, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And it's crazy because, like, I'm trying to think, like, I just played this game a few months ago, and there's definitely memorable things about it. But I'm sitting here thinking, ooh, another tier list idea I could do is let me tier rank all of the Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past dungeons. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of just blanking on what a lot of the dungeons were. And not to say that, like, they were all so similar, but none of them just really, like, stood out too much to me. The only ones that really stood out to me, to be honest with you, I mean, it's really only one, and it's the ice dungeon in this game. I can't remember which number it is, but that was probably my favorite dungeon, which is why it stands out so much to me. But this game, it's good, it's fun. It honestly makes me itch to play more top-down Zelda games, like on the GBA or whatever, Game Boy, regular Game Boy, Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda, the first one, Four Sword Adventures or whatever. I don't even know what all of the top-down ones are, but it also just makes me want to play through more of the series, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the Nintendo 64 titles, the GameCube titles, the blah blah blah, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, all that good stuff. But it's an A. It's difficult. It's definitely a difficult game. I had plenty of trouble playing this one, trying to get through some of those dungeons, which is why it bugs me so much that I can't remember. Like, there's moments I remember from certain dungeons, but sometimes I can't even remember what moment I'm thinking of came from which dungeon. Like, before I review this game, I'm going to have to rewatch some of my videos or watch somebody else play it just to kind of get an idea of, like, oh yeah, now I remember that's what happened there. And I did have a friend helping me out. He's a huge Legend of Zelda fan. Shout out Jesse. He was giving me a lot of tips and tricks and just little hints of, like, hey, try doing this and see how that works. And it was very helpful. So I definitely have some good memories of playing this game, and I will eventually play it again. And I will continue playing on Legend of Zelda. Love the story. The dialogue is hilarious. Very funny. Yeah, just very cool. Cool enemies, like memorable enemies. I remember a lot of the bad guys. So yeah, it's a good game. It's an A. I wouldn't say it's S because, like I said, I enjoyed these two way more. But it's an A for sure. It's definitely better than these games here. Spyro 2. Spyro 2 is going comfortably in B, and I'll even put Left 4 Dead behind it because I enjoyed Spyro 2 quite a bit. Talk about an improvement on the original. And it's like a lot of times you think about series and you think about how most of the time, and I'm about to say this, but I'm sure I could be I can be proven wrong through a number of examples. But normally, when you think of a series, you think that the OG is the better one, and that things tend to go downhill after that. And I'm talking like TV shows, movies, video games, whatever, albums, like whatever. But I mean, I'm looking at three examples here where the sequel greatly improves on the OG. Like, I don't think you'll find many people saying that Left 4 Dead is better than Left 4 Dead 2. I think it's pretty widely accepted that Left 4 Dead 2 is a superior game. I don't think you'll see many people saying that Halo Combat. I mean, some people would probably say Combat Evolved is better than 2, but Halo 2 improves a lot of things on Combat Evolved, and I would agree with that having played both, but that's next up. But Spyro 2, when I was a kid, I played a ton of Spyro 2. Did not play a lot of Spyro the Dragon, which is what the first one's called. But playing through it, I was just very taken aback by how little there was to it. And then playing Spyro 2, I was reminded, oh my god, yes. Like, I remember why I love this game so much as a kid, because it just has so much more content. You have 3 main boss fights. The third one is actually decently difficult. Like, it's pretty tough. And then you have a lot more collection to do, like talismans and all this good stuff. And a lot more abilities. You can do like the little flutter thing. Like, it's just a very good game. Improves greatly on the first one. Has a lot more content, more difficulty. Boy, more difficulty. I had some moments in this one. I do rage in my series. I'll tell you right now, I raged a lot in this game, in Halo, Ripto's Rage, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Left 4 Dead. I raged in all of these. The only one that I probably didn't rage too much in was Spyro. But, yeah, okay, so let's move on to Halo 2. You want to talk about a game that was difficult? Jeez, dude, Halo 2 was very hard. And I actually had a friend of mine tell me that Halo 2 is like one of the hardest games to play. It's like higher difficulties on. I played it on Heroic because, like I said, when I was a kid, the hardest difficulty I ever played any Halo game on was on normal. But I can't put this any lower than A. I don't think I can put it in S tier. And I can't put it over A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past is just a better game. It's two different games. You know, people will say stuff like that. It's almost like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate. Like, oh, you can't compare them because they play two different positions. And it's like, you can compare them, you know? And I can certainly compare this FPS to this SNES adventure top-down game. A Link to the Past is just better. So Halo 2 goes comfortably in A. It's not an S tier because I had more fun playing these two than I did this. But Halo 2 does a lot of good things, and it does take itself a little more serious with the story. It's got a serious story, got a very interesting story. I love the Halo universe. Like, the lore of Halo is just so good. But everything about Halo 2 is awesome. You can go akimbo, as you see Master Chief holding 2 guns there. That's what that means. You can hold 2, like, it's only specific weapons you can do it with, but you can hold 2 weapons at the same time. They don't have to be the same weapons. You can have 1 plasma rifle and 1 plasma pistol, 1 needler and 1 regular human pistol, 1 submachine gun and 1 plasma pistol, whatever. So it's a lot of fun. You also get to have the plasma sword too in this game, which is one of my favorite weapons in the series. Love the plasma sword. If you watch this playthrough, you'll see that I did go for the plasma sword just about every time I came across one, which was fairly often. It introduces new enemies like the brutes and the little green bug guys. I can't remember what their official name is, but honestly, surprisingly difficult enemies. The brutes are, I mean, they're tough, but once you get them down, you can kind of get through them a little easier than you can like the elites. And the reason I say that is because the elites have full body shields. The brutes don't have shields, they just have like a helmet. And if you can get that helmet off their head, they're fairly easier to kill. They have like a berserker or like rage mode, because normally you run into multiple brutes at once, and when one is the last one alive, they get pissed off or whatever because all of their teammates are dead. So they start running around and they will mess you up. The game's hard as hell. I had a lot of trouble playing it. Still very fun though. It's an A for sure. Alright, Luigi's Mansion. See, I'm getting too top heavy, but that's the thing. None of these games are a D or F. I almost wonder if I should, like, in the future, change these down here. Or just get rid of them. I mean, I'm sure eventually I'll play games that I consider a D. But Luigi's Mansion is an A. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it's a high B. Going into it, so as a kid, I love this game. I literally traded a Razor scooter my parents bought me to a childhood friend of mine for a copy of Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. And I played the hell out of it. And I had played it before that. That's how much I love the game. That's the reason I bring that story up, is because I had played Luigi's Mansion all the way through before. For some reason, it got sold. Probably my parents were just like, yeah, let's sell this stuff. We need money right now, blah, blah, blah. I'm hanging out with a friend of mine in his house. He has a copy of Luigi's Mansion. I'm like, bro, let me borrow that. Somehow it turns into, let me give you my Razor scooter and you give me Luigi's Mansion. And we did it. So I went home and played it, and I never had a memory card for this game, so I would play through it in one sitting whenever I would play it. Or if I didn't, I would just play through it until I could. Time to stop playing. All right, well, I'll just restart from the beginning when I do, and I loved it every time. But it's not an S tier. I just playing through it again this last time. I had a lot of fun. I remembered why I loved it so much as a kid. But it's just not an S tier, and I don't want to say it's boring or it's very one track, whatever storyline, but it is a lot of the same. You go into a dark room, you catch all the ghosts, the room lights up, you can collect different money and collectibles from it, and like each ghost kind of has their own way to like make them available to be caught. But it is still pretty similar each time. That's why I'm struggling to decide whether it goes in high B. It's like, it's not better than Halo 2. Almost, I don't know. I did really like Spyro 2. I almost want to move Spyro 2 up to A and Luigi's Mansion down to B. Honestly, this might be controversial, but that's going to be the ranking I give because I loved this game. I love this game too. I loved this game. I loved this game. I love this game. I love these games. But I loved Spyro 2 and Halo Combat Evolved a little bit more than Luigi's Mansion. Left 4 Dead is still here. I still could almost put Left 4 Dead in C. But we'll see. So, Banjo-Kazooie. I'm going to blow my nose real quick. Sorry, I want to be able to talk properly. Banjo-Kazooie, the most recent game I played, the 10th playthrough on this channel. I love this game. It's not a C. That's just where I put it for a sec. I don't know if it's an A. It's certainly, if it's a B, it's the best B. Because look, I said it in the playthrough, and I'll say it again here, and I'll probably say it again when I play Super Mario 64 eventually. But this game, in my opinion, does have better platforming than Super Mario 64. And that's what I compare it to, because Super Mario 64 was the platformer on the Nintendo 64 that I played a ton of. And I loved Super Mario 64. Always wanted to play Banjo Kazooie, but never did because I just never owned it. But finally got to now as an adult, and as far as I can tell, it is a better platformer. It's very much a collectathon. Almost, I mean, you can't really say it's more of a collectathon than Spyro, because both games you have to collect stuff to progress. But I mean, it has a lot of stuff to collect. Spyro kind of just has like your main three things, as far as I can tell. I don't know. It's just so tough. Because it's like, is it better than Spyro 2, or is it just a high B? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because I did love Spyro 2 so much. Banjo Kazooie is such a good game. Oh my god, dude. I don't know. I don't know where to put Banjo Kazooie. I mean, I almost enjoyed it more than Halo 2 when I think about it. A Link to the Past is the better game. These three games are for sure better than Banjo Kazooie. The issue is trying to figure out which of these games is better, and I don't think any of them are. It's very difficult. I'll just tell you that right now. If difficulty makes a game unenjoyable to you, then you will struggle with Banjo Kazooie. And honestly, it might be so fun, regardless of the difficulty, that kind of like me, you'll push through the difficult parts just because you like the game so much. And that's kind of what it came to with me in Banjo Kazooie. I got to the final boss of this game, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers for most of these. The final boss almost ruined the game for me. If so, to fight the final boss, you have to collect so much of the collectibles in it. Then, once you get to the boss, you find out that there's more doors to unlock with more collectibles if you go and get them, to where they help you out with the final boss. One of them gives you more health. And I'm telling you right now, I'm sure there are people out there who are good enough at the game to where they don't need the extra health. I needed the extra health. I had to go back and get the collectibles that I needed just to be able to beat this game. And that pissed me off. Like, I don't know. It just really bugged me, because I had already put in so many hours or just so much time and effort into the game, that I get to the final boss and I'm fighting the final boss over and over again, just getting absolutely like stomped, raging out of my mind, about to break my setup because it's pissing me off so much. It's so unfair that I was like, okay, fuck it. Like, I just have to go back and get the stuff that I need, because if not, I'm not going to be able to beat this game. And so that just kind of bugged me. I didn't really like how difficult that was, but it was. And I went and got the collectibles. I went and beat the boss, and yeah, I still enjoyed the game. It was still a lot of fun, and I still plan on playing the sequel, which is called Banjo Tooie. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. The game's hilarious. I talked about how A Link to the Past has funny dialogue. This game's dialogue is hilarious. The main antagonist the entire time you're playing the game. So you have like the hub world, which is, where the world that you go into to enter all of the other worlds that you need to enter. And when you're in the hub world, the main antagonist is just spitting rhymes at you over and over. Like, I don't know what the timing of it was. I'm sure that people have all the details down, but like, let's just say every 5 minutes you're in the hub world, the main antagonist is going to randomly start talking, and she's going to say something like very funny and whimsical, or like, rhymey. They always a rhyme. So it's a very fun game, very interesting, very cool. I see why people love it. I'm sure people would say it's an S tier. I mean, there's people who would probably say these three games right here are S tiers. I mean, I know for a fact there are people. People would probably say Luigi's Mansion is an S tier. But as for me personally, these two games were like peak games that I played. These games were great. These games were amazing. I don't know, good, but not as good. And then these games were just, hey, they are what they are. They're good games. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. But nothing too good beyond that, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's the ranking. That's how I'm gonna have this. So Half-Life 1 S tier, Donkey Kong Country S tier, A Link to the Past A tier, Banjo Kazooie, Halo 2, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage A tier, Combat Evolved, and Luigi's Mansion B tier, Left 4 Dead and Spyro the Dragon C tier. I do have this created as a tier list on this website, tiermaker.com. You can go and fill it out yourself. If you do, take a screenshot of it, send it to me on Twitter, on Instagram. Those are both in my bio, or they're in my bio and they're in every description of every video I upload. If you want to just tell me your thoughts and comments, feel free to do that. This is always going to be public to people, and every 10 games I will be adding. Every 10 games I play, I will be adding to this tier list, and eventually it will culminate into one big tier list of every game I've played. So yeah, that's it though. That's the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Just let me know in general. Give me your thoughts and opinions and your own tier ranking. Or even just do your own tier ranking in the comments if you want. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.